welcome, Dell. I am so thrilled to get to interview you, and we're excited to hear about your business and how you've used certification to your benefit and all. So I've got 5 questions to ask you. So I'll just start off with the very first question, which is to tell us about your company and why you started it.
Okay. My In 2008, everybody was struggling, my boyfriend, well, my fiance and I, we just struggled like everybody else for years. And 2011, we just decided, hey, this is enough of this. I was doing Medicare for a little bit. My background is in marketing, but I was doing Medicare for a little bit, and I knew Medicare was going to end because it was um, a seasonal thing. And my fiance, now my partner, he used to be in the metal business, and he said, hey, I know I can make money scrapping metal. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm not going to be with a man that goes around and shoves somebody's trash, uh, metal trash in a truck and driving around. And it's like, no, that's not going to work for me. And let's see if we can do something together. And we did our research, found out that most of the electronics were getting in the landfill. Uh, I think it was 68% back then,
Mhm.
and I don't know how it depends on what you're reading too, but it was about 68% was getting in the landfill. And I said, hey, let's do this. You know metals, I know marketing, I know business, you know operations. And together we did a plan, a business plan. I started building a website, and I had a little bit of savings. And I says, hey, I have $1,000. Let's take that from our savings, or my savings. It was my savings. And see if how far we can go. Well, then, like the next day, he brought home a big load of wire that he found somewhere, and I think he bought it for 200, and we sold it for 800. And it's like, wow, this is going to work. So that's how we started. We started in the garage, and he's never been in business really for himself. I've always been an entrepreneur somehow, some way, uh, marketing, or I've always had some businesses in my background. I just love business. And that's how we got started. Now it's been almost 9 years. It's going on 9 years, and we have 3 locations and 27 employees,
Wow.
and we're doing good.
Wow. Now, if that isn't an inspirational story, I don't know what is. So you started with $1,000 from your savings account with the idea of, I'm not going to do this because I don't want to be the woman to the man who does that. Let's see how we can refocus it and do something that would marry our both of our passions. So that's pretty amazing. And 9 years later, you've got 3 locations and 27 employees. So wow, kudos to you, Dal. Kudos to you. So tell us, how have you used your WBE certification to your advantage?
Well, that's the most exciting part about it.
Mhm.
The very first thing that I did with WeBank was at USF. And I know it was a joint, I don't know who all was there, but it was my first one. I didn't know what I was doing, but it was like I think it was they called it a round table or
Mhm.
uh,
A procurement roundtable, yeah.
okay, that's what it was. Okay.
Mhm.
And of course, I wanted to talk to anybody and everybody that would be interested. I already decided that our target market was um, or medical facilities, banks, and law firms, or anybody that held data that they thought it was very important to make sure it's taken care of, because that's what we do.
Mhm.
Um, so when I got to the guy that did USF, he took care of the electronics and disposal. He said, "Hey, this is already taken care of. It's A1 asset that in Orlando that takes care of us." And I knew then, because I know the people in our industry, they were having trouble or challenges, a lot of uh, things going on in the business, and the reputation wasn't the stellar, the best. So I just said, well, good. It's good thing it's taken care of, and blah blah blah, and then 2 years later, um, so the guy, I wish I knew his name. He went to the diversity department there and says, "Hey, I'm tired of these guys not doing what they said that they were going to do. Who else? Do you have anybody else in there?" And they pulled my name right up and says, "Hey, this lady is WeBank certified. Uh, uh, Call her." And they called us, I think 2 months ago or a month and a half ago, and we've picked up from them several times by now, and they just love us. So, yay.
Wow. Yes. Yes. So a lot of lessons to be kind of explored in how you answered this question, Dell. First off, we always say you have to know your competition, right? That it's not a good idea for you to be in business and to be in business with blinders and say I'm the best, and you have to come to me and no one else, right? So you knew when that the name of that company was said by that procurement officer, you knew that you had a chance because you knew they were in trouble. And good on you for not saying anything, because that's another thing too, is we like to tell our members, nobody wants you to share that kind of insight knowledge, because it's like a breach of confidence, right? And they're going to say, if you're talking bad about a competitor, we don't want to do business with you. So good on you for not talking bad about this competitor. Good on you for attending the event, right? Good on you for registering in the USF website, because that's how they found you. And that's another thing that we tell all of our members as well, is you can't just go to the event. You've got to, do the homework and do the first thing actually before you actually go to the event is you should register on that corporate website, because the procurement team, the supplier diversity management team is going to ask you, are you registered with us? So you want to get that off the plate and say, yes, I'm registered with you, right? And then the other thing is, you mentioned that you knew exactly who your targets were, right? And you had a specific reason for having those targets. And I think you said anyone who is holding really important data, right? So you mentioned medical facilities, banks, and law firms. And USF was not a medical facility, not a bank or a law firm, but, a place that holds important data as well. So I just wanted to point that out, that sometimes we focus on a target group and we don't see beyond the target group. So you have to, yes, have a target group, but you also have to be open to looking at other possibilities, right? So attending the procurement roundtable event, and we are so anxious to get back to doing those live in-person events. Our sponsors are interested. I know the WBEs are interested as well, but that's a great story of how you were able to, because you're WeBank certified, land some contracts that I'm sure now will open the door to even more contracts. So good on you. So my third question for you is, what is the most courageous thing you've done this year?
I would have to say this. I'm not comfortable speaking, and I was in Toastmasters 6.5 years, and I went through everything, but still, I've never been comfortable, and I don't know if I'll ever be comfortable speaking in public or doing this. But I'm going to do it no matter what, because it's my company, and I'm doing it.
Well, again, wow. The thing about courage, right, is that you step into it. You step into your fear. And we're always telling our members that the best way to talk about your business is to talk about your business, right? Whatever forum that you can use, whether it's social media, whether it's attending networking events, whether it's coming on camera, even though you're camera shy, to come on camera and share your story. That's what you need to do, right? Because that's how people connect. People do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. And the best way to do that is to get yourself out there. I recently heard from one of our WBEs who runs a multi-million-dollar company that she does very little marketing. She does very little networking, yet business comes to her. Well, I wish that were the case for every one of you. Okay, but chances are that's not, she's the unicorn in the group. Most of us have to get out there and tell our stories. Most of us have to get out there and work on our pitch, on telling people who we are and what we do and why it's important to them. And that's the thing that'll set you apart, is why what they call it, the what's in it for me, right? So as you're speaking to a procurement officer or someone from supplier diversity or a potential client of any kind, always remember that they're interested in themselves. They're not interested in who you are, right? They're interested in how you're going to help them get what they need. So being a solutions provider is really, really key. Knowing your market is key. And then doing courageous things, a little bit at a time, doing courageous things is also very, very important. So kudos to you, Dell, and thank you. Thank you for being courageous and coming on to share your story with us. Okay, so my next question is, what is the most creative thing you've done this year?
Well, as everybody else, when the pandemic hit, you have to be creative. You just had to be. And we had a challenge of getting to, we like to pick up businesses, but we will pick up residentials also on the way, between. But it was getting to be a problem in the pandemic because we had drivers that, had to take special precautions and masks and extra calls and things like that. So we asked the residentials to bring in their e-waste as much as they can. And we started to buy plants from a nursery, and every time they brought in some electronics, we'd give them a plant to keep it green. And every month we would change. Like December, we did Christmas cactuses. January was herbs. February, was hearts. There was a cactus heart. And March is clover. And this month is Earth Month. So that's very special to us. We usually have a celebration for everybody, invite the community, and everything's free because that's our model. But so this time we bought bonsai, FICA bonsais, and money trees. And of course, there were more expensive, but it's April, so that's what we're giving away for April, and it works. And before, because I don't have a question or anything to announce this, at the zoo this Saturday, we have a free shredding event. And if you want to bring in your computer, we'll take your hard drive out and shred it right in front of you. So.
Wow. Wow. Well, I'm inspired by your creativity. So tell me, how did you come up with this idea of exchanging electronic waste for plants? What sparked that idea?
Well, one of our very big customers, he works as a procurement officer, and he owns a nursery. And it's just like, well, that makes sense to me. We'd buy some plants from him, and give them away. And it made so much sense, because you don't want to give a bunch of stuff that's has a problem recycling or anything. So the green just made sense.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful, beautiful. And what is the feedback you've received from your clients for this plant for electronics exchange?
They love it. Every month we give away more and more plants, so they must love it.
Great, great, great.
And people seems like they're going to the neighbors and getting their electronics so they can get another plant. So
wonderful, wonderful. It reminds me of something that that I read in this great book called I have it right here on my desk. We put it in the group. The truth about green business, right? So this is a book that was written about 10 years ago, and it's all about sustainability and green business practices. And in it, one of the chapters, they profile Stony Brook yogurt, and they highlighted how Stony Brook yogurt became known as a green company by doing something that had nothing to do with yogurt. And they gained lots of community accolades by putting tire inflation stations along city streets in their community. And so it was free, stop by and get your tire pressure checked. And if your tires weren't properly inflated, they would inflate them for you for free. And the marketing around it was, if you're driving with tires that are not properly inflated, you're wasting gas. And if you're wasting gas, you're buying more gas, and blah, blah, blah. And so I love this idea that you have of, we want you to bring your electronics to someplace safe where they're going to be taken care of properly. And in exchange for that, we're giving you something green. So kudos to you. That's just a fabulous, fabulous idea. And I hope that you buy tons and tons of plants from from this nursery. I love that idea too of going back to work with someone you're already working with. So that's absolutely a very creative way of giving back. So one of the questions that I also wanted to ask you, Dell, is tell us exactly what it is you are doing with small businesses, because as you know, most of our group is small business owners. You're going into corporations, but you said you were also helping with small business owners. So if I have an office that has some old electronics, what can you do for me? How can we connect?
I will do anything and everything for you almost. Sometimes I think we're doing all this and we don't charge at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think, okay, we are scanning these hard drives where we do visual clips of your hard drive to make sure it is your hard drive. We send certifications and a little clip. And sometimes I think, man, we're doing a lot of things for free, but we make good money and we can support 27 employees. So I'm really happy about that. But we did start out with small business, period. We targeted the small business, the little medical and dental and vision places. But what we will do is go uh, get your e-waste, computers, wires, copiers, fax machines, anything that you can plug up in an office or has batteries, cell phones, all that. And then we take it back to our facility. We shred those hard drives. First thing we do is get all those hard drives, and we make sure we have all the accountability for all that. And then after it's the hard drive is shredded, you get a certificate and a little clip on showing that your hard drive was shredded, and you have peace of mind and you have more room.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think there are probably lots of small businesses out there who have, some stash of electronic equipment in their closet somewhere because they just don't know how to properly dispose of it.
Yes.
So, we all need businesses like yours that are going to come and take it off our hands and give us a plant on, to boot. So that's just absolutely lovely. Okay, and then my final question before we open it up to the team and the chat for questions. What words of advice would you have for WBE? So you've been in business going on 9 years. You started, with $1,000 basically in your garage with this idea. And you've grown to, in 9 years, you have 3 locations and 27 employees. You're using your WeBank certification. What else? What advice do you have?
Well, I say keep engaged and always ask for advice. Don't be afraid ever to ask for advice because most people love to give advice. I do. If someone, I love when people come to me to ask me about the business or marketing, or because I love marketing. And it's very, very important to market and find your target.
Mhm.
And like you said, you can target somebody, but be open to everybody. So
Mhm.
that's kind of the theory that I go uh, with. And join other organizations, the working women, chambers and things like that. It's a real important network all you can, and take advantage of you guys, the Joanne and Steph and Nancy and Diane and Emily and Carmen, take advantage of this because that's what they're there for. So that's my advice.
Thank you, thank you. And we've always talked as a team of how passionate we are about women business owners, right? And about giving advice. And we always are just so surprised that people don't take us up on we want to help you. Just give us a call. We've got the contacts that we might be able to introduce you to. So thanks for reminding people of that. And thank you for all of this. It's been really, really eye-opening and very, very inspiring. And at this point, Dell, I'm going to just open it up to our team to see if they have any questions or if any questions came in on the chat while you were speaking.
Diane, do you have some questions on the chat?
I have a question. What, Dell, when you dispose of all this, where does it go? How does that work?
Well, it could go to different places. Now, the steel, the frames are steel, and they go locally. That we sell them to a scrap company. And okay. By the way, that's how we make our money. It's not nonprofit. That's the way we make our money, is we sell the metals. And we divide a computer and other electronics into 27, 28 different categories and boxes. And that's what my laborers do all day, is take things apart. And either we sell to another company like ours, but a lot bigger, or every once in a while we have enough scrap, e-scrap, to send over to Mitsubishi, Japan, because there's no smelters here in the US. But we send that over, they take 30% and send us back a check. They could send us the metals, gold and silver and copper, but we decided that we would rather have a check.
Cool. What about the plastic parts, the plastic pieces?
Everything is recycled properly. Now we have to pay to get some things like cardboard and plastic. We have to pay to get that recycled, but it's business.
So there's you have, I know, an enormous number of things coming in. So yeah, we are creating so much waste, so much scrap material. Yeah. So thank you for the service you're doing. We appreciate that. Very cool.
Absolutely. And any other questions from the team or from the chat?
Dell, are you planning to expand beyond the Tampa Bay region, or what do you recommend for people who are maybe not in your region who want to recycle their
Okay, so that's a good question. We take care of all of Florida except for the Panhandle, because it's there's not a whole lot there for one, and it's really hard to get to from Tampa. But we do a lot in Miami, and that's our next location, is what we're looking at down Miami area. But we do all the prison systems from Miami all the way up to Jacksonville. We do Advent Health, all of Florida. So it might take a little bit longer to pick up in the Miami area, but within 20 days, I would say.
Dell, we had a question.
Go ahead, Joanna.
About your event that you're having at the zoo, where people can bring their electronics. Which zoo is that going to be happening at?
Oh, that's Lowry, or the Tampa Zoo.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for clarifying that.
It's great.
It is awesome.
Beautiful. Any other questions or comments?
No, very good. Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
no, I was just gonna, say how sometimes small businesses, we think, what can I possibly do to recycle? I have brought in, I stopped using styrofoam cups, and we have a water cooler instead of the plastic bottles and all. But what else can we do? We changed our light bulbs. We did this. We did that. But sometimes we forget about the electronics, right? Because a lot of us, I'll admit myself, until I started really looking at sustainability, I didn't think that was an issue, and then after my husband passed away and we were going through his office, my husband, like myself, I'm a real pack rat, but Joe Allen was an incredible pack rat. And we found all these old cell phones and all these old things that he had just kind of squirreled away. And I had to call someone to say, okay, am I supposed to just throw these away, or what am I supposed to do with them? And so we had to find a company that would come. We actually took a bunch of things to this company. So, I guess on the one hand, he was doing good job not just throwing it away, right? And then I found out what we could do with it. But as small business owners, we really have to remember that there is a proper way to dispose of these things, right? And I like what you said, that how did you put it about the data? You scrub the data. So
We shred. We don't scrub, because we found out that there's a lot of used hard drives being sold with stuff on them. So we shred everything.
Okay. So there is safety built in, right? And security built into to doing this. And I think that's really important. That's probably why a lot of us are holding on to things too, is we've got some stuff on the computers that we don't want shared. Yeah. Diane, did you have a question?
There are a couple more questions that came into the chat. One is, when someone brings laptops to the location, do they get to choose the tree or plant, or do you have like I know it's a question. Do you have a variety of plants that you're giving away, or does it vary by day, or how's that work?
Well, we buy these per month, and we try to match the month with the plant.
Okay.
So this time we wanted ficus bonsai, and they didn't have enough of them, so we bought the money trees, and they're nice too. They're like 2.5 inches. They're nice.
Money trees are really easy to grow too. They don't require a lot of light or care. I've got a couple in my house, so yeah, money trees are a great selection for house plants and office plants.
I was gonna say something too. Dell, there are a lot of questions coming in. Do you want to share your information in the chat box if somebody wants to reach out to you, or what's an email address they can contact you at, and we'll put it in the chat.
Okay, so I don't see. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, just go to the chat.
Yeah, I can put it in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
And I'll just jump in there and let everybody know. I have been getting a lot of messages. I guess something's changed in the format, and you guys aren't seeing the option to save the chat this time. Unfortunately, that's I guess Zoom changed something, but we will make sure that we get the chat out to you all. And then also, just a little plug for our WBEs. I'm going to be archiving the chat in the Growth Shift portal. So if you want to, you remember as a WBE, you get that complimentary. So and we were archiving this in a Facebook page, but it was a little massive now that we've had so many. So we'll be archiving these, but we will make sure we get that out as well. And then Nancy, if it's okay, just because we got a couple more minutes, I think this is a good segue to let you guys know that we have a new format actually coming to the window in May. And Dell, we're so excited because now you won't have to be in the chat and we're going to have to be trying to catch up. So starting next month, we are going to open up the Q&A sections that everybody can actually come on camera and ask our guest speakers questions and have an engaging conversation. So just super excited about that. I want to take that because everybody's panicking about the chat and I'm getting all these emails. And I'm like, well, just guess what? This is a good thing because we're changing the format next month.
Perfect timing.
Right? Zoom changes everything on us, right? We get the hang of it and then they change it.
Yeah.
So, which is why, Dell, we need you because then we need all new stuff.
Yes.
Right, and I do see a question about COVID. How has COVID changed your growth or impacted your business?
Well, we had a couple of slow months, the first couple months, March and April of last year. And it was just really terrible because our big holiday is Earth Day, April 22nd. In fact, our mascot is Mother Nature. But it slowed down. We were the essential because we are a waste company now, and we just have grown and grown and grown since then. So I don't know what it is. We just feel so lucky. I don't know.
Yeah, I love your mascot. So
Thank you.
Mother Earth. It's similar to ours, the Her Woman. Yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for sharing all the information on how you've made that transition during COVID and continue to grow your business. And it's so creative how you are giving, a plan to continue that recycling process. So that's great. Yeah, there's a lot of questions still in the chat, I think.
No, I think it's more just some comments. But yeah, so again, Dell, thank you very, very much. And I think you can, if you're a chocolate lover like me, you can go have a big piece of chocolate because you did fabulously. No one can tell that you were nervous and that this was the most courageous thing you would have done for this year. So thank you so much for being with us. And to our participants that are on the call with us and in Facebook, I hope you've enjoyed this segment. Our theme again is sustainability. So we very deliberately chose Dell as our WBE for our winning strategy session because of her great success, and again, I'll say she started out with $1,000. So those of you who are out there who are thinking, I don't have enough money to start my business. Yeah, well, here's someone who started with $1,000 in savings and 9 years later has 27 employees in 3 locations and is looking at expanding. So it's very, very inspirational. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.